Good evening, everybody. Welcome to The Pulse. I'm Keanna Faircloth, host of Afternoon Jazz on WBGO. And I am super excited to kick off Black Music Month with seriously one of my favorite musical couples, the Baylor Project, Gene and Marcus Baylor. I know y'all are ready for this. We have been in anticipation of this interview. We got postponed last week, had to sit on down for a minute, but we're back in full effect. And Gene and Marcus Baylor are here with me in the house. Let me bring them on right now. Hey guys.
Don't not too much excitement,
Right,
baby.
right.
I know,
You gotta
right?
calm
Gotta
down.
keep it calm.
Okay, turn up a
I'm
little bit.
not good at
Turn
this.
Turn it back up. Turn it back up.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, now sit on down. Sit on down.
Right.
Mhm.
I am so excited to just be here and chat with you guys and kick off Black Music Month in the best way possible with the Baylor Project.
Yes.
So thank
Yes.
you
Thank
guys
you.
so
Thank you
much
for
for
having
being
us.
here.
Yes.
We're excited to be here. We're excited to just get a chance to talk to you, albeit on the screen, but we're getting there. We're getting out of the woods little bit by little bit.
Yes.
Yeah, slowly but surely, we're coming back. The world's coming back open.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, yes.
I am just in awe of you guys for a number of reasons. Because creatively, you guys have consistently just hit the mark. It seems you're 3 times Grammy nominated at this point, and we have been in just uber anticipation of this album. This is your second album together as a duo, correct?
It is.
Yes.
It
It
is.
is.
It is. And we are just excited to be releasing it after a lot of delays and things
Yes.
that were just out of our control. So we just had to kind of step back and let it breathe and just let it happen and just do what we could do. So we're finally at the finish
Yes.
line.
Finally.
Yeah. What's interesting about timing is that sometimes no matter how you plan and how you have things mapped out and strategized in your mind, the universe says, nah, not yet.
Yes. I mean, because it's something because it's like we were planning on releasing this album last year, but even we recorded a lot of it, a nice amount before the pandemic, and then these other creative ideas started happening,
Yeah.
and basically up to the wire of mixing and mastering, we kept recording, and like I think this is the third track on the album, "Love Makes Me Sing."
Oh,
How you gonna
the
pour that beer?
strings
Put it
on
on me?
that.
Ideas. Like,
Yeah,
there
If
was
we
his
talk
yeah,
idea.
about the strings
yeah.
on Love Makes Me, my God.
So I
That's
got
my
so I
soul.
One
so
of my
this
favorites.
this was crazy. So I called myself relaxing, taking some time off, and I was watching Netflix, one of these teenage series, whatever, which was it was cool. And so this song came on, and I'm saying, "Yo, they playing Hey Mr. DJ from Jeanne. My wife used to be a part of this R&B group called Jeanne, and so they had this song called Hey Mr. DJ, and I'm listening. I'm like, oh man, that's kind of bouncing. Then I said, no, that's not Jeanne. This is the original version that Gene told me about by this composer named Michael Wyckoff.
Huh.
He's like around the time of Stevie Wonder, Donny Hathaway, and Gene told me about him. And so I started just researching and I went to go listen to his music. And there was this last track on this album called Love Makes Me Sing. And I couldn't stop singing it. And I played it for Jean, and she was like, babe, babe, we done with this album.
I'm like, we got enough songs. I'm
She
tired.
she woke up the next day. All I can tell you is that, Keanna, she woke up the next day singing this song. And so next thing you know, it was time we had to record it.
Yeah. Well, look
And
at the
that's what happened.
connection
Yes.
between, Jeanne and you said Michael Wyckoff is his name?
Yep.
Hmm.
And wow, that's interesting. See, the
Yeah.
album wasn't even done. You didn't even
It
Yeah.
know it
wasn't,
wasn't done.
Yes.
and didn't know it was done. I was like, oh, please,
Right.
let's put it to rest.
Right.
And he said it was like 2 days, 3 days. And I'm like, well, I said, it's kind of catchy. I said, well, if it's stuck with you this long, if it means that much, just go on and do it.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad we did it because I love that song. He was a singer songwriter and artist, and
Yeah.
I guess in like 70s,
Yeah.
80s, and it was so cool to kind of go back and revisit some of his songs. And this one, and you hear the original. I had to learn it from the original recording, and then I had to stop listening to it. And then he was like, okay, we're gonna do it like this and give it a Poinciana vibe. And I'm looking at him like, what?
And we called Jeff Keezer to do
I just go with it.
put a string arrangement on it, and we went in and re-recorded it. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the dynamic in our marriage is what can I say?
I fully support and encourage you at all times.
Yeah, like for instance, she told me, she said, when we first started the Baylor Project, I said, hey babe, we should start a band called the Baylor Project, and and do some gigs and stuff. And she said, the Baylor Project, that's a dumb idea.
Because he was like, so you singing, me playing drums, and all I saw was like a drummer and a singer on stage doing. I'm like,
And no band in your mind.
what?
Oh, okay.
Like, no. He's like, I got it. I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
Look at that, man. I mean, 3 Grammy nominations later, the Baylor
Yeah.
Project people love you. I love you guys.
Wow.
And the love just exudes, from you guys personally. You see it, on your Instagram and all over social media, but also, it bleeds through the music. It's so
Yes.
genuine and warm. You really are a light. Speaking of a light,
Thank
like I
you.
said, like, be a light.
Yeah.
You guys have released this album on your own label, Generations, coming out this Friday. How has that been? Putting this out, under your own umbrella here.
Ooh,
Yeah.
God.
I don't know if it almost literally sent us to the hospital.
It's tired.
I don't know if it was literally putting us to the hospital, but no,
We took a trip.
we took a trip.
Oh.
But yeah, but it's a labor. I mean,
It's a labor. Of
you know
love.
what? Friday can't come fast enough. That's the thing.
I'm about to open the window and be like, take it.
Right.
It's the seasons out.
It's a labor of love. I mean,
Right.
I got it right here. Oh my goodness. I love it.
Oh my God.
Look at that. Look at how gorgeous y'all are.
Thank you.
Look here.
And it matches your art design for the Pulse.
yes, I love all the backdrop in the room, all that.
Yeah.
Oh, thank
Yes.
you.
Nancy.
Wow.
And wow, I love
we
it.
are in
Yeah.
great
Yes.
company.
Ivy
Yeah,
Anderson,
I mean,
Chick Corea, Return to
yeah.
Oh,
Friday.
Yes. I mean, it's one of those things where for us, our hands are pretty much in everything in terms of we have a great team that we work with. But of
Mhm.
course, our hands are pretty much in everything. And sometimes I want to be able to pull back, but it just seems like even with, getting the artwork packaging, the mixing, we involved in every stage. Like when you talk about producing and writing and I have to tell you, Gus, if y'all don't know, Gus does, this is
Gus
put
is
it like
Jean. This is her pseudo name.
look, quote unquote, I'm the
handyman
man of the house, but I don't do any handyman work. First of all, why do it got to be called handyman?
No, it could be a handy
Why can't it just be
girl, a
handy person?
chick, a
Yeah.
handy person.
She
handyman,
lay
'cause
floors.
Normally it's a big hairy guy.
Gus does it all. First of all, how did you come up with Gus? Where did Gus come from?
We all over the place. We can't help it, y'all.
I
This
know.
is how it is.
Our interviews are like just all over the place. He has a knack for making up really weird and strange names out of syllables that you just don't make any sense together. And when I do like painting and around the house and doing little things. Like I've laid vinyl tile. I haven't laid like hardwood floors or ceramic, but I know I could.
The fact that you've laid any kind of tile, I can't say I've done the same. So
She does it too. She does it well.
Like light and work. And
Wow.
one day I was like, I don't like that name. And he's like, well, I need to call you something. He's like, Gus. And I'm like, I like that one. It's like, why you like Gus? I'm like, I don't know. It just sounds like I work on the farm or something. Come on, Gus.
Gus.
Right.
So that's
It's so funny. It's such a handyman name.
yeah,
It
Gus.
reminds me, I had we had a handyman growing up. His name was Norman. I'm like,
That's a good
I'm like, it's just one of
Yes,
those. It's a
Norman.
handyman name.
yes,
You know?
yes. Like
Oh
Gus just
God.
did the patio.
Well, I didn't do the patio, like build it. I
I was
will
gonna
pay
say.
somebody else to do that. But I just like did a little basic little decor, you know. But I was trying to, well, he wants me to put up some sliding doors for the kitchen pantry, but I don't want a
Wow.
professional do that. But we did consult with a friend who is a professional contractor. He was like, Gus got it. She can do it.
He
Like,
got confidence in you.
I
Yeah.
don't want to do it.
Yes.
So I'm gonna
Look,
put up
Gus
some
will save you
slide.
a lot of money.
Yes.
Right.
That and then this is the other thing. I mean, it sounds like I do nothing, but
No, you
on
do a
this
lot.
album, Gus, I mean, Gus wrote horn parts on this album.
Only
Did
because
you?
Them horn
he
parts.
told me to. I am not a
This what
horn
happened.
arranger
So let me tell you. So we
ever.
were working on a record, and like, so how I start. This is how it started off. We were in, I think we were in China for the first song that you was
Yes.
working on. Happy to be with you.
Yes, yes.
And so I said, I think that was a song that we did, and she wasn't necessarily liking the horn parts, whatever.
Uh-huh.
And so I said, babe, this is the deal. You always doing background vocal arrangements, all this extensive, all, stuff over the years. I said, you know what? Why don't you just sing what you want to hear behind you? Now, this is crazy. So I love hearing her demos instead of hearing it from computer instruments because she actually sang all the horn parts and then she
Oh,
wrote them out and gave them to the band.
What?
now
Gus,
they did make some corrections though.
hey,
It
but
was like,
Gus,
hold up.
yeah,
But
I mean,
I was like, I don't know if this is good or bad. I mean, I like it, but I don't
she
know
did
if
the
it's
same
actually
thing
good.
on some of the, just to gave the direction, even on some of the strings. You might have sang a little something, just
Just a little bit. Only
yeah,
because you said he comes with this, you do this. And I'm like, what? I'm like, all right,
yeah,
here
because
goes nothing. And then
this is the thing. The look
and
on
I'm
her face when she don't want to hear something, it's like when it's not right.
you know
Oh
what?
my God. Like,
Like
yeah.
and,
Yeah.
we were in China and I came out I played it for two of our horn players, Freddie Hendrix and Keith Loftus were there. And I'm like, guys, can you listen to this and see if this sounds like something like it should be or like trash? And they listened to it, they be like, oh yeah, that's good. I'm gonna have fun playing that. I was like, all right, cool.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
At least it's
awesome.
okay
Yeah.
then.
So you're doing horn and string arrangements and you on the
Yes.
hand claps and the stomps and
No, I don't do no string arrange, just ideas,
just
and then I
well
hand
the seed.
professional.
You
Yeah.
plant the
Not
seed.
Darren. Yeah.
Yeah.
Darren Etwater did the
Ooh.
strings on Black Boy. I mean, him and Jeff knew what to do. Once they heard
Come
it, they said,
on.
okay, I hear it. So,
Yeah.
I
I
heard a
mean,
little soulful symphony in there. I'm like,
Yeah.
this is pretty
yes.
soulful.
I mean, this album, it's like, really, it's really, it's called Generations, but it's really a major part of our upbringing, but not just us, that culturally that we all can see ourselves inside this story in terms
Mm.
of, each song of what we're telling, that we can relate to it in some kind of way. Like even you being a part of a great legacy, even in what you do. I remember the first time we met, we were playing DC. I can't remember the name of the theater.
The arc.
Yes, the
Oh
Arc.
At the
And you
arc.
just
yes.
never know. And Gene
Oh
probably don't
my
remember
gosh.
this. We did an
Yes.
interview with her over the phone before that gig.
Oh
You
wow.
sure
I think,
did.
She introduces. I
yes.
remember
And
that.
so, and this is the thing. I mean, jazz music, it's a music that has touched the whole world. And no, and it being an African American art form, I love to see how the lineage and the legacy is passed from generation to generation,
Mm.
and to see, uh, uh, I gotta say, this is how we talk. A sister, that is doing a thing, DJs and spreading the love and just passing on the music to the next generation. I mean, it's so awesome.
Oh,
It's so
thank
awesome.
you.
Seriously, like it's amazing. Like,
Thank you.
so
And
we
it
were
really
excited.
is
Yeah.
my honor to be able to, be in this position to give you all a platform, because you're certainly passing on the torch. I've heard so many people just talk about both of you being mentors to them, from Jasmine Horn, Lakeisha Benjamin. So many people like, oh, I look at Jean as like she's she's just
Oh,
amazing to me. Christy Dashiell, she absolutely loves you
those are my
guys. And
people.
Yeah.
when people talk about you, it's like such a nurturing feeling that you get from them, that they feel like you guys have really held them up in a way that other art I haven't heard that sort of
Right.
sentiment from a lot of other artists, when people
Wow.
speak about you guys. So thank you for
Oh,
what you're doing and passing on the torch.
Thank
oh,
you.
that's just
That means
that's a blessing to my heart. It is.
wow. I
It
mean,
is.
it's
I think
yeah.
sometimes, well, I guess we've had people that have certainly helped us along the way
Yeah.
in different times and seasons in our whether it's been teachers or things like that. But the artist to artist connection is a special thing,
Mm-hmm.
but it's a delicate thing.
Mm,
And so, like, I think that there's so many things that can get in the way of that,
Mm-hmm.
and we just kind of just really try not to let that happen because it's
mm,
most of the things that will get in the way of that is unnecessary.
mm.
So, like, there's a song on the album called We Swing, and I'm
Ah,
just like thrilled to have Diane Reeves and Jasmine Horn featured on it. And like, I literally wanted those two voices
my
when we
word.
were working on the song. I'm like, oh my gosh, if I got my heart's content, if I got my heart's content. And I'm like, every time I listen to it, I just giggle to myself because I'm like, oh my gosh, oh, we actually did it. But we were in the studio with Jasmine, and because Diane's on the West Coast, and so we had to do that virtually. But um, she was going through do her verse a couple times, and she was sounding good, but I was like, where's Jasmine? I'm like, and then I said, oh, okay, okay, okay. Um, and so we pulled it to the side. We did a little sidebar, and I said,
Okay.
listen, girl, I said, when I called Jasmine Horn, I called Jasmine Horn in all of her glory. So I said, don't be playing to me because I'm an alto. Honey,
Right.
you do your whole thing. And she
Right.
was like, I said, and her face was so funny because she was like you caught me. I didn't know. I'm
Right.
like, girl, no. I called Jasmine Horn.
Come
Right.
I
on.
said, do you?
Yeah.
And
But
I
we
you
have
need
should.
some
all
But
that
you don't
smoke.
remember right after that.
uh,
I didn't hear your all conversation, but
mhm.
I jumped on. I think I was on the
You did.
drums,
You said the
and I
same
said, "Look
exact
here,
thing.
it's crazy." Because I said, "Look here," I said, "Jasmine, I need you to do you.
Yes.
Do completely you.
Yeah,
Don't hold back."
right. He literally said
I
that.
said,
And she's
"Do
like,
you?"
okay. And right then
Yeah,
was when she did that take that you hear on the right.
because
Ah, and it just makes it better. But like a lot of times you have, personal issues or insecurities or different things that will I've heard stories of like people calling other people, but okay, I want you to do, but don't do it too much because I don't want you to overshadow me. I'm like, if you don't want them to overshadow, don't be calling them for your record.
Exactly.
Like
right,
let them be them in the fullness.
yeah,
And if they're musicians, if they're musical, they're gonna serve the song.
right,
But
Mm,
allow them the freedom to serve the song. Otherwise, why are you calling them to make you
right.
look good, but not
right.
them look good? Like
It's
that's the
wild.
kind
The
of stuff that
insecurities, man.
I
Yeah,
don't.
and
It's
we
like
need,
no.
and this is the
Mm-mm.
other side of it is that you know, even from playing with Kenny Garrett over the years, I remember he would invite elders and some of the great legendary musicians. And
Mm,
one thing that I learned from those experiences is that with Jazz, Mia, and Diane, there's a lesson for us to learn musically
yes.
and just life, everything. It's like you're pushing us to be better. Like when we brought in Jazz, Mia, and Diane, it wasn't about the hype of their name. Like one thing about us when we work, it's like we actually hear those voices in our head first before we
Huh.
think of, oh, this person is known or notoriety, or no, it's about the sound. And we
Yeah.
realized, I said, man, yeah, Jasmine would be a great lesson, and Diane would be a great lesson for you and for us,
Heck yeah.
and for us to be able to
Hmm.
just grow and learn from. And that's what this is all about. It's about the legacy that we learn from the generation that's younger
Hmm.
than us, but also those that are, those are
Absolutely.
our aunties and we learn from our
Mhm.
little sisters and our big sisters and
And
Yeah.
I've
brothers.
been told, Christy and Jasmine, I'm like, I'm supposed to be taking a lesson with y'all.
Right.
They laugh at me, but I'm like, I'm dead serious though.
Yes.
I'm like, shoot. It's
Yeah.
like, and
You're so
the thing,
humble. You
no,
are
but I'm like, bro, there's
Right.
so much serious that I could learn.
Yeah.
And I mean, they laugh at me, but I'm like dead serious. I'm
Yeah.
like, you gonna give me a lesson? And I just think that when we really, each artist, singer, musician, writer, whatever, you have your own purpose, right? It
Yeah.
comes with you when you come into this world. And so if you take time to understand what that is and develop that, you have your own musical DNA, your sound, you. So it's what makes you you. So that right there is what tells me that I don't have to be coveting you. You don't have to be we don't
That's
have to
right.
be slighting you so I can get my spit.
That's right. What's for
I
you is
Right.
for you. You were put
Yeah.
exactly
here to do it.
right, and we're all better with one another where we learn because you learn anyway, whether you listen to people's records or whether you study with
Yeah.
them or whatever, whether it's the older generation, the younger generation, you just stay in a position of learning. I know we went completely off subject, but
No.
It's all a part
I
of
love my girls.
generations.
It
It
really
is
is
a
a part
part
of
of
generation.
generation.
That's it.
It
Yeah.
That's
really
a
is.
word right there because so many people are in competition, it seems, with others. And you're so consumed with how you can be better than somebody else that you're not even
Yeah.
focused on your journey. You know,
Right.
Right,
you're
right.
missing out on your blessings. So,
Yeah.
generations, man, you said it was 3 years in the making, this
Yeah.
project?
It's about something like that.
20,
Yeah.
I think two, maybe. I
Something
can't
like
even
that.
remember what year is it now. 2020, what,
Right?
2020,
It's a
2021,
Yeah.
blur.
20.
Yeah. It was
You
something
know
like
what?
that.
Yeah, probably 2.5, 3 years in
Yeah.
terms of like just
Yeah.
the concept and just kind of starting to get ideas about songs. It took a while just because with this one we had the concept first and then the songs came just one by one.
And the concept came because we were at Gail Boyd's
Yeah.
house. Amazing
Mhm.
manager, Auntie Gail,
Yes.
and
Yes.
just sitting around the table having dinner with
Hmm.
some friends, some of the elders,
And her
and
husband,
her
Mr.
husband, Mr.
Walter.
Walter.
Yeah.
And when you open up that, yeah,
Love.
actually, when you look
I
at
got
that,
props. I'm ready.
yes, that picture was the people basically that was at that dinner
Yes.
table. And
Really?
they were talking about, we were
Yeah.
at Gail's house and they were talking about their upbringing and just
Wow.
different stories of
Oh,
stuff
I
that
see.
we
Is that
had no
Gail
idea.
right there?
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh, okay.
That's Auntie Nia.
yes,
Yes, they were talking. They were telling some hilarious stories, and their friends, Richard and Kathleen Glover, they were telling us funny stories about the meter man. And I was like, a meter man? What's a meter man? Well, your refrigerator was hooked up to a meter, and you had to put the quarters in it. And if you didn't have enough quarters when the meter man came around, I don't know if they took your meter or took your refrigerator or turned it off. I don't know. I don't know what they
What?
did, but I was like,
yeah,
what? And then they had the ice box and all this stuff. And
Yeah.
I mean, I remember the milkman from like the early 70s, but other than that, I didn't have no ice box. We were just cracking up about all
yeah,
these old stories that, and it's
Wow.
like you kind of come into this world thinking that things have always been the way that they are when you're there until you start learning about other stuff and be like, no, 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 no.
yeah,
Right.
And that we were sort of, first of all, Auntie Gail can throw down in the kitchen, and she's
Can
got
she?
these homemade biscuits that like you just go there knowing that you're gonna eat these biscuits. Don't worry about like putting on a few pounds. Just let it happen because it's gonna be
Right.
worth it. And that's what we were doing. We were eating. She made us a nice big breakfast, and we were just doing what our folks love to do, just fellowshipping and having a good time. And
Man.
and I in the middle, and Marcus, these stories were so funny. Marcus was taping some of the stories.
yeah.
And I said, man, I got it. I got it. I got the concept for the album. He said, well, I said generations. And he just looked at me like I looked at him when he said the Baylor Project. He was like, yeah, all right.
Right.
And I'm like, I got it. I got it. I got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that meal literally gave way to this album. You're calling it, and I love that you call it like a sonic story quilt,
Yes.
a soulful
Well,
sonic story
I
quilt.
wouldn't. I would have never came up with that.
Right.
You know who wrote the liner notes? You
Who
ever
wrote
met Andre Chemo Stone Guess?
it? Wow.
Andre Andre has been in the business for some years. He used to manage Christian McBride. So many worked at the Lincoln Center. He's an amazing writer and just just he's an unbelievable person. But so that's who wrote the liner notes, and he put it in those words. And I was just like, wow, we just sent them the record, and that's what he came back with.
We were blown away. I was like, whoa.
Well, there it is. Yes.
I mean, because that's what it feels like. It's like the coziness of, a quote your grandma. So, you know what I'm saying? It feels like that sonically, like you step into it and you feel hugged. I wasn't having a really good day today. So I'm like, I turn on the album and I'm like,
oh, thank you. Wow.
Is that you? I was like,
Is that grandma?
Grandma,
Is that you?
Look.
come on, grandma.
Yes.
Grandma, is that you?
Yeah.
I'm serious. I felt hugged. I felt loved. So thank you.
Oh, I love
Thank you.
that.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh,
See, you were right, babe, because I was trying to put the album out next year. And she's like, no, we need to put it out now.
Be like,
It's
we're
like,
gonna put it out. We
babe.
ain't never gonna put it out. Put it
I'm
out.
like, babe, I'm tired. No,
Yeah.
do it now.
Yeah.
I'm glad y'all didn't wait. Make sure y'all packing up all those albums to go out by Friday.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Ask somebody.
they need it.
Oh my gosh.
All the
I got
packages
the
in there.
stickers and the thing. Oh,
I saw you.
They
Oh,
going out.
I'm like, wow, they doing it all.
Yes.
And we are so gonna go sit down somewhere.
Yes. We.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Hashtag sit on down. Speaking of sitting on down,
Yes.
you guys were productive during the pandemic. You got nominated for a Grammy for a song you guys wrote called "Sit On Down."
That song wasn't even. We can't even take credit for this song. Literally, we can't. It's like on a day like this. Well, no, it's not like a day like this because we can actually go outside and know what's going on. A year ago, we were sitting at the beginning of the pandemic, and I think I was screaming at the television or on the phone, like, man, people need to sit down. Like, what's going on? Before people wearing masks and all that.
Yeah.
And Jean was in the kitchen cooking, and she came into the living room and said, babe, let's go live on Facebook. I was like, babe, what? I didn't know what she was talking about. I said, okay. Then I said, we might as well go live on Instagram too. So we end up arguing for about 3 minutes on just do Facebook. I was like, babe, we're going to do it. We're going to do it.
Because he's setting up stuff. And I'm like, I ain't trying to do all that. That's always my story.
Yes.
I ain't trying to do all that.
Always never trying to do all that. So she started singing this crazy song to encourage people to sit on down. And then someone said on Instagram, Jason Morales.
No, that's on Facebook.
No, he was on Instagram.
He was?
Yeah, that came from Instagram that you didn't want me to set up. He said, you guys need to do a challenge. And I'm like, a challenge? So we did a challenge for Sit On Down. And Andre Prevec, who plays organ with Gregory Porter from the Czech Republic, was quarantined over there. And he sent back a version underneath the singing and the clowning. And it was like, okay.
I'm like, wait, what?
This is something there. And so Gene said, we should record it. He's like, man, you write a bridge, Gene, write a bridge to it and record it. And so Gene ended up writing a bridge, and we ended up getting it over to him. And I was thinking, okay, let's just put it out like this. No, Gene's like, no, you need to play drums on it. Played drums, sent it out to another bro to play bass, Wayne Moore, and Ray Rayford to play guitar. And that's how the song got created. And next thing you know, it went viral and it was nominated for a Grammy. Now, in the middle of all this, we were somewhat stressed out because we were working on an album. We was trying to figure out when to go back in the studio. So this song it wasn't planned, but God has his ways. And
we almost did like an EP of Sit On Down, like different versions.
Yeah, we almost did an EP.
But it was too much. We were like, okay, no, we can't do it. We can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Back focused on generations.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was that was pretty amazing.
fun.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And you guys nominated for a Grammy for it, for something that you weren't even planning to do.
Yeah.
I want to play the video for the folks right now. Is that okay?
Yes.
Here it is.
Yes.
This is Robert coming in my house to get something for Amber. Okay. Good. Bye. This is what you do.
We got some folk out here that don't want to sit down.
Come on, tell it like this.
here's a little song to encourage you.
Come on, somebody.
Come on. Why don't you go ahead and sit down? Take a break from the hustle and grind and simply chill out. Take a nap, grab a book, watch some HBO. Got your Netflix, Hulu, and the radio. Say a prayer to the world, a favor, and just sit on down. Why don't you go ahead and sit on down? Take a break from the hustle and grind and simply chill out. Take a nap, grab a book, watch some HBO. Got your Netflix, Hulu, and the radio. Say your prayers to the world, a favor, and sit on down. See, why can't you understand it's not about you? See, I'm here too, and it's gotta mean a little something. All you gotta do is put it on pause for a few. There's a whole world full of life waiting for you. Why don't you sit down? Take a break from the hustle, baby, and simply chill out. Take a nap, grab a book, yeah. Netflix, Hulu, and some radio. Say a prayer to the world, the favor, and sit down, baby. Oh, do what you gotta do. Sit on down. Take a walk in the park and sit on down. Let the sun shine on your face. Yeah, sit on down. Put some chicken on the stove, baby, so you can sit on down. Above all things, say a prayer and sit on down.
Okay, your turn.
Who the heck bringing flowers? Man, that's a setup, man. I don't trust this.
I'm gonna take these flowers.
Gene, they not coming in my house. Stand right here.
He's crazy.
You gotta think about how
She can
dirty money
spray 'em.
is.
That's why you spray
What,
them.
like, hey, these flowers ain't coming in here.
Give me my flowers.
They gonna sit right there. Oh, that was real.
Oh my God, I love it.
That was real. Actually, that was real too. That was real footage.
I forgot about half of that crap.
Yes.
Oh my God. I mean, people were freaked out. Like, you can't, these packages got to sit outside for 2 weeks.
Yes. Come on,
He
somebody.
sprayed the flowers with Lysol.
Oh, you killed them. Did you
He
kill them?
did. By the time I brought them in,
No,
they
they
were kinda
came.
like
They came
this.
in. They was okay.
It was halfway wilted, but they was all right. Who said that flowers? Somebody. It's a setup. Like, what?
Hey man,
Oh
it
my
just didn't feel right.
gosh. That was his sister in the intro, clown and my get out of here.
Are you serious?
She lives in Springfield, Missouri. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So funny that y'all literally brought the community together.
Oh,
Wow. Thank you. Wow.
Encouraging people to sit on down. Be safe. We gonna
Right.
be okay. Just be still for a minute.
yeah.
You know.
Yes, in the big scheme of things, of
Yeah.
our lifetime, down the line, it'll seem like a small time, but when you're in it,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, I'm here every day. And then you have people that, some people who live by themselves, where they're used to getting out and about, where, it can be very challenging to just be at home, and after it's okay for a couple weeks, but 2-3 months in,
Right.
you go a little stir crazy.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
But you
yeah.
guys made it okay, for people to sit on down. It's only like you said, a fleeting moment. How does it feel now that we're coming out of it? We're on the back end of this thing. Live music is coming back. What are you
Yes.
guys looking forward to? What do you have in store?
I'm looking forward to less Lysol.
I'm looking forward to, getting a chance at some point to see family, hang out with people like yourselves. And
Yeah.
we have a few gigs coming up. We're playing our CD release party actually is going to be in Philly
Oh,
at
nice.
for 2 days at this beautiful place called South, which is perfect. The way the restaurant is and just what the
Oh,
meaning of the album is, and presented by Gerald
love
Beasley. And
that
then
place.
we have a few festivals coming up in like the fall. I think Pittsburgh Jazz Festival and one music
St. Louis.
intersection in St. Louis.
Yeah.
So, there'll be more stuff coming in, but at the same time, we still just want to make sure that we're cautious and as we learning about this thing more and more every day. Yeah.
Yeah, we're taking
Yeah.
it slow. We're
Taking
going
it slow.
slowly. We don't mind going slowly, getting out because really, I mean, we haven't performed in over a year and a half, maybe
Yeah,
two
we got to
years now.
rehearse. Yeah, I
So
didn't think
now
about
I'm
the
like,
rehearsal. Yeah.
me.
Right. Right.
People gonna expect us to be sounding like that. I'm gonna be like, I don't know that song. We did
Right.
that 2 years ago.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Wow. So we can't wait. Generations drops Friday. I know
Yes.
you guys have, pre-orders available now. How can
Yeah.
folks get their hands on it?
Go to so if you're a digital person like the digital downloads MP3s, it's on available in the iTunes store. We're not streaming, so it's on the iTunes store, or you can go to Amazon. They also sell digital downloads and the actual. Let me see what the physical CD, which is actually the first. What is the first 100? I think is autographed,
Ooh,
and
nice.
so that's going to be available through Amazon as well.
Yeah.
But and also check the BaylorProject.com. We're going to have a new website and all the information and everything. And man, I can't wait for you all to hear. I don't know how long we have CDs going, but but we went all the way out for this in terms of the
Yeah.
we drove our graphic designer crazy.
Happens to be our niece.
Yes, with the
Oh, wow. She did an amazing job. It's gorgeous.
yes, with the
She's good.
booklet
She's a
and
pro.
all.
She's
Yeah, she's
professional.
a pro. Yeah. Shout out to
But
Sharice Brock, our whole team, Lydia Liebman, Daniel East, and
yeah.
Danico
Yeah.
Peniston,
Yeah.
photography, yeah.
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 It,
If
it,
you all
it's
have
a
any
whole thing.
comments, by the way, viewers out there, be sure to drop them there. Any questions for the folks? We've got a few comments here. Rosalind Grant says, love the song and video, great musical couple.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Rosalind. Thank
Thank
you.
Millard
you.
Southern the third says, so excited about the new album.
Millet.
Yeah, man.
What's up, brother?
It's
Can't wait to
it's
see you.
incredible. It really
Yeah.
is just a warm hug for your
Thank
ears and your soul.
Yes, good. I think
Yes.
that's what we kind of
And,
need right
and to
now.
all the WBGO jazz lovers, it's some spangalang on there. I remember someone hit us early on in the process. I'm like, bro, we're in the creative process. He was like, hey man, make sure y'all got some spangalang on there.
Spangalango.
Yeah, some spangalang,
Some swing.
some swing. But he
Spangalang.
call it
Oh,
spangalang.
Bang.
But he called the swing
So make sure there's some swing on it.
spangalang.
Oh, that's hilarious.
I didn't know
love
what you were talking about. I'm glad you broke it
Yes.
down.
it. Like,
for me.
she said, who's paying a line?
Yes. So,
Yeah. Well, another special guest. Let me see with Jasmine Diane Reeves,
Sullivan Fortner.
Sullivan Fortner's on the record,
Nice.
and Jazz, Lord,
Jameson Ross.
Yes.
Ross, yeah.
Yeah.
It was a song, another song that I heard. I'm like, oh my gosh, I hear
Yeah.
his voice. And it's just I don't know what my favorite song is because they're all kind of like my favorite at a different time.
Uh-huh.
So,
And that song
yeah.
was completed.
Yeah.
And you told me a year before that, hey, we need to get Jameson on this. Jameson, a good buddy of ours, and
Mhm.
I think I was taking a jog last year towards the end
Because
of
at
the
first
record.
he was like, no, I don't know if we want a special guest. I'm like, oh my gosh, his voice will be perfect. And then like a year later, he's like,
I took a jog,
you're right.
and I was like, oh man, we need to get Jameson on this,
So we did some virtual studio sessions too with people.
Oh,
just like this.
And
Yeah.
really?
Yeah. You'll see probably some of it in our promo video,
which is coming out Friday too.
yeah,
Oh
yeah.
man, that's right.
Kinda
That got to
gives
come
you-
out Friday too.
Yeah.
You like when you're doing everything, you got to keep a checklist, boy.
I'm like, Lord
We
Jesus.
gotta get to the finish line, babe. We're gonna
Woo!
steadfast and unmovable. But
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. And I have a question. Just how do you all, of course you're a married couple, you work together, and you're together all the time. How do you make that work? Because I know that you guys got to get sick of each other at some point. That's just the way it works. How do you do it? How do you keep it connected? Keep it going.
We about to do some actually a question.
That's a
So
great question.
Eric Roberson has a great song out right now that went viral called Lessons.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're going to be doing a video for him. And so the question is, so when they asked Gene, what lessons have you learned being married? And what was your answer, Gene?
So 2 TVs. So he can go holler grown man basketball all through the NBA season, and then I can go upstairs and watch crazy shows like The Handmaid's Tale. I love those shows.
Right.
But I think it's really a balance. Like for instance, I think one thing that I've learned is realize that we understand each other's strengths. So for instance, I've been blessed to tour with different artists and great people around the world, and as well as Jean with her great career. And so it's like, hey, I mean, it ain't a big thing if like people say, hey man, I really love your wife, or if Jean is getting a lot of accolades or the praise or whatever. Like for us, I mean, it's really about just knowing who you are and you being comfortable in who you are, and at the same time, as far as being at home off the stage, it's balance. Yeah. It's balance, and we don't really take ourselves serious. Right. Like some people, I think somebody said this. They said, man, this is so true. They said fans either really love Marcus or they really love Gene. They never love us together. It always be like, hey man, yeah, Marcus, but hey, what's your wife Gene though? Right. I need to get on something. It's never together. It's always like,
we done seen both of y'all enough. We're gonna do something separate.
Yeah, but no, we
have fun with each other. I mean, we get on each other's nerves.
We argue like anybody else.
And then we are honest about it. Like, I mean, like, you get on my nerves. You be like, you get on my nerves. Then I'm gonna tell you this one little funny quick argument. I don't remember what we were arguing about. This was years ago, like early on. And whatever we were arguing about, it was just like, and so we went outside, right? And I went to my car to drive off and go somewhere, and he went to his car to drive off. But he turns around in the parking lot and he goes, he was so mad. He was like, your attitude sucks. Me being the creative thinker I am, I turned around and I went, what's that movie? Denzel, Remember the Titans? Attitude reflect leadership. I won no argument.
And we started laughing.
He just busted out laughing. I busted out laughing. I said, attitude reflect leadership.
Let's go back in the house. Let's go back in the house.
And then we talk it out and figure it out. Now, 18 years later, we really, obviously have settled in, but we know each other very well. And sometimes we have to say, I know you, because I know you. And you'd be like, yeah, you're right, you're right. I don't like admitting when I'm wrong, but I will.
Because after years of being married, you do the same thing to each other. It's really that's what happened. The first couple of years, like the first couple of years is an adjustment. Yeah. Then after that, you've been together so long that you do the same thing to each other. So if she did something to me, just know I probably did it to her at some point. Right. So it's just like.
But I will say this on a serious note. No joke though. It's been a while, but we still like race each other up the steps, talking about last one to the top smell like doo-doo.
Really?
Like,
and then we're like, we're trying to pull each other down.
No, and she's competitive.
She's too.
She's competitive. Like she went to college. She went to Temple on a lacrosse scholarship. Really? And so yes, she the first black person to play lacrosse, right?
Jazz, because like they were like, you have to pick a major, and I was like, all right. Let me go to
Lacrosse.
the music department and see what they got.
Yeah. Yeah. So we did.
But
Yeah.
you're
So,
competitive because early on, he had.
okay, this is
I
ridiculous.
let
A grown
him.
man.
He he put a little Nerf
That's when you first get married.
basketball in the living room, like right in the threshold. When
You
walking down the
transitioning
hallway.
out of college into grown man life.
We've
So
been-
there's still some college lingering ways.
Old habits die fast, die slow.
Yeah. So I had a basketball hoop.
had a hoop, but then I would be playing with him. And they'd be like, "Oh, you don't want none of this," and he would like slam me into the wall. I'm
Hey,
like,
look here.
"Dude, I'm a girl," and he's like, "If you step on the court,
You trying to
it's
dunk.
so good." I'm
Yeah,
like,
you can't be
"It's
dunking
not
on
the
me.
court. We in the living room."
Like, I'm not going to let you
so
dunk
I'd be
on me.
like, "Oh,
Oh, yeah, it was bad. Like, you ain't going to dunk on me. I'm sorry.
But you ain't gonna slam me into the wall. Not
Hey,
get
we're going to play aggressive.
Right?
Hey, I play aggressive.
We don't do that anymore because we don't have a Nerf basketball in our house.
Right.
But yeah, but I think also we come from very similar family backgrounds.
Preacher's
Mhm.
kids.
Yeah, and
Oh.
then, but I mean that could go awry too.
I'm the good one,
they
she the
were
bad one.
lies.
True.
And all you need to see is his high school prom picture.
Okay,
You
stop.
understand that is not the case.
Uh-oh.
Stop.
I looked at it, I was like, who's that?
Stop. Too much.
But yeah.
Now I gotta do some research.
But we're really on the same page, and which I'm really, really thankful for. Even when we're not on the same page and we're like, we're still fundamentally on the same page. That like, so when we're at odds, we're always trying to get back to that place,
Yeah.
and so we both get back there. So so that I'm really thankful for. It's a blessing. But,
That's
you
some
know,
sage advice. Like awesome. Keeping your eye on the goal as a unit.
Mhm.
That's what I gather from that. Also, having fun,
yeah.
keeping it fun, and making each other laugh.
Yeah.
There it
Yeah,
is.
yeah. He makes me laugh every day, and I probably make him laugh every day too. He does some really funny things.
Okay.
I won't say it on camera.
Doing too much. Doing the most. .com. Doing the most.
It's pretty
This
funny,
is a
though.
jazz station.
It's suggested.
You're on WBGO. The
Look, this
biggest,
is
one of the
Pulse.
biggest jazz station in the world.
Okay.
New York, the mecca of jazz.
It's really funny though.
I'm just saying. You see that WBGO over there?
Oh,
I
okay.
love it. We got a question here from Leroy Lindsay. He says, "How do you feel the virtual recording has changed creating music?"
Woo! Well, I'll tell you this: the majority of our album, we actually did is we did it in a safe way, but we went in and recorded together in the studio with the band and the strings, and we might have did like Diane Reeves session virtually.
Mhm.
I think, well, from us producing R&B records and coming from, producing R&B records and straight ahead records and doing a mixture of everything. For us, I mean, we were already recording. Like sometimes we would get tracks to sing on something, or sometimes we would write and send it out in the past. So, wow, sorry about that. Phone call. Yes. So with that being said,
because there's a dog. I don't know if y'all can hear this dog barking outside.
no, I can't hear that.
No.
I
Hey,
understand.
look here, they're getting the East Coast experience.
Yeah.
For real, you got the phone. So I would say, what was she asking me? Oh, virtual recording. I think, to me, for jazz music, like it can be done, but when it comes to like straight ahead, I have to be in the studio with the guys because there's something about that interaction and interplay. Certain songs you can get away with, and production things you can get away with, as you know, we are producers as well. So we have been doing that for years. But when it comes to jazz music, we got to go in the studio with the band. We got to cut with the band. Just that interplay and interaction and what this music was born out of. For us, we want to go in the studio with the band.
I don't know
That
how
makes
you
sense.
would do it.
I mean, people have did it. I mean, but
virtually, like with people in
Yeah.
different places, though.
like I kind of
or
I mean, you did one with Ben Williams with Ben. Ben is on the
Oh
record too.
yeah, I
Ben
mean
Williams.
that's like oh
Yeah.
okay yeah if some
Yeah.
like because Ben and
Marcus.
Marcus were recording together and
Yeah.
then I sang over that, so it didn't affect my creativity, but your functions a little differently because
Yeah.
I'm not creating music with them. I'm creating is based on what they've created together, so I'm more so fitting into what they've done, but in the context in that context I'm still being creative.
Yeah.
Right.
Of course when you're all together then you're all creating simultaneously, so I don't think it affects creativity. I just think that you're functioning in a
Right.
in different ways creatively.
Right.
But like you said, we're kind of used to that because like Sit On Down, it was like
Yeah.
that was an idea. Andre put all these instruments on it, then he sent it back to us, and then we like did some
Yeah.
overdubs of certain instruments.
Yeah.
Sent it back and forth, that kind of thing. But we were being creative in the context
Yeah.
of that song. So that it's just kind of
Yeah.
fluid that
And we
way.
have, we've been doing studio recording for years in terms of having our own studio, and we can make it work, but for certain things, we love to be
But
live.
certain things you
with-
gotta
Yeah.
Yeah. Nothing
Yeah.
quite
So-
like being in the room. The synergy that happens when you're
Yeah,
together.
you gotta have that.
because there's something that is created there that is not gonna happen.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, but it's good to know technology can allow you to, still create even
Yeah,
when
that's
apart.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Awesome.
absolutely.
Jody says, love these two. Their warmth and energy is contagious. I agree.
Oh, thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Well, Jean, Marcus, I appreciate you guys so much. I'm so excited for this new album. I can't wait for the world to hear it because it just touched my soul.
Oh,
And I know that it's going to touch so many others. And I feel like Grammy here. It's been 3 times you've been nominated. I feel this. I don't know if you guys, some people don't really care about the whole Grammy thing. I mean, yeah, it's
Yeah.
great to be acknowledged by your peers.
Yeah.
And by the way, congratulations to you guys. You have positions now with the recording.
Yes, I'm a trustee now, and Gene is a governor,
First
and
time
it's
governor.
like, I thought about this today
Yeah.
actually. That one thing that I realized that's cool about the Grammys is you said something that it's your peers acknowledging you, and one of the things is that as artists, sometimes as creators, that journalists or certain people may not get the record, and sometimes it's like, okay, let's hear what the creators or people that play, that write music, or people that's a part of, to hear what they have to say, because sometimes things could be overlooked, and you have to just put that second ear to it. And it being overlooked doesn't necessarily mean that it gets slighted all the time. It just has to deal with exposure. Like, we have our own label, Be a Light, in which, man, it's a labor of love. So us working with a great publicity team like Lydia Liebman, and we still, we're working and we're grinding, and like you said, Gene is packaging. Well, that was for our Indiegogo campaigns. We did a crowdfunding campaign to help with the record, so we can absorb some of the cost. And so it's man, it's really a blessing, being able to to be recognized by your peers. And the Academy is pretty cool, and being able to meet some of the most amazing musicians and creators in the world. And it's not it's not perfect, but at the same time, we're striving to. It's not just about the Grammys; it's education initiatives.
Right.
I sound like I'm giving a speech and all that, right? But for real, advocacy, because we actually did these things. We went to Grammys on the Hill, and these things I didn't know. And to keep it real, the only reason I joined the Academy was back in 2002, after I was playing with the Yellow Jackets.
To stop telling.
No, we was playing with the Yellow Jackets, and as an artist, you get a free ticket if you're nominated. If you are a member, you get a +1. Amen. Look here, I wasn't a member. Hey, Jane's ticket cost a grip. I was like, yo, and let me tell y'all something. Don't let the hype fool you.
Can I be a member today?
I think that one of these years, I think it was in New York for the first time. I think I was out on the road with Joshua Redman. And we drove old cars forever. Like, because we're totally
No,
kept
like,
invested into our dream.
Look, ride it till the
She
wheels
drove.
fall
I
off.
drove an
That's what
89.
I say.
Yeah,
not like regular old cars.
no,
It was an 88 Camry.
89. At least give me a year.
Okay, 89. It looked like a
Toyota Camry.
29. It was so toe
That
up.
2002.
It was like started out navy and
she
ended
drove that
up
to the
like
Grammys.
it was like an ashy gray color on the top, and then the other side it was like faded and it was like rusted out on the one side. No air conditioning, no heat.
Wow.
The antenna broke up. That was my fault. But it was
Yeah.
it was a
So-
hot
So
mess.
back to the.
And I pulled up into I was like, I ain't got time for these people. Ain't nobody buying me a car.
Yeah.
And we drove in the parking lot. Everybody got like these Benzes, whatever. I parked my
So
stuff.
I bought the ticket.
Okay.
So basically I joined the academy. So if I ever get nominated again, then man, that +1 gonna come in handy.
I
So-
know that's right.
So what ended up happening is over time, I had some people that sat down with me and talked to me about what the academy really was about. And I was like, wow. And it really was from that standpoint, it was like, wow, okay, this is what this is about.
Yeah.
The awards is the biggest thing, of course, of the year for the academy, of course, that everybody recognized. But so many initiatives, rights for streaming. They've been
Wow.
giving money during the pandemic. It's
Music
it's a lot. Music
Yeah.
cares.
Yeah.
I ain't just saying it, y'all. It's real, and a lot of people been blessed during this pandemic being able to get assistance.
Yeah.
Through Music Cares.
That's so important. And congratulations to you guys for,
Thank you.
trustee governor. That's big. You guys really have a voice now in the process. So
Thank you. And you need to join the academy if you're not a part. We'll talk
I'm
about that.
not, and we will talk about that.
We'll talk about that. Amen. Amen. And you got to understand. And let me just clear this up for the WBGO musicians and professional church audience out there. Basically, the reason why I said Keanna, because she's doing well in her craft, in her field. She's a professional, so
Thank you.
she has all the things that meets the
Yeah, it's qualifications.
qualifications.
Yeah.
Album credits and all that stuff. But we ain't here for that. But just give you a
I
little
didn't
something.
know that. Thank you.
Yeah,
I
so
know that I can
we'll talk about that.
Yes, indeed, we
Come
will.
on, trustee.
Come on, somebody. Come on, you got to do the work in the fields.
Come
Not just sit in the
on.
office. Okay.
Y'all are a blessing. I appreciate you guys. You are. I could sit here all night long and talk to you guys.
Really good.
And remember,
I
Jen,
can
you're on
tell.
WBGO.
I am.
So don't cut
That's
up.
right. Don't cut up.
Right.
OMG.
Yes.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you for having us.
Generations
Yeah.
drops on Friday. Be sure you guys pick
Go
this
get it,
up.
y'all.
Get it,
Go
get
get
it, get it. There's
Yes.
a lot of stuff in
Yes.
there.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Help
It
us pay a
is
credit card
gorgeous.
bill, amen. No.
Gorgeous, soulful sonic story quilts.
Oh.
Loving that. And you all will be blessed by this. So thank you all
Thank
so
you all
much.
for having us.
Go online, make sure you check them out. Get you can still pre-order, but it's out on Friday. Give me
Yeah.
your website once more, social media, all that stuff.
And the BaylorProject.com, and then the Baylor Project on Twitter, Instagram, and all that. And we want to be doing this campaign. If you get the record and listen to it, we're doing this campaign called First Reactions. And so after you listen to it, whether it's a song or two, you can listen to it in your headphones. And when you take off your headphones, videotape yourself landscape style. What is your first reaction? Whether it's good or bad. If you say, man, it's horrible, hey,
No, Lord.
hey, it ain't just about good comments. We just want to know how does it make you feel? Is it good or is it bad? And so you can post that and tag us on social media. So we're doing this thing called First Reactions.
First reactions. I wish I had known that earlier because I definitely had tears in my eyes listening
See, that's
to I did. I'm gonna see
that's
if
the
I
moments we want to capture.
see if I can-
Right. Replay it again. Look here, y'all. Yeah. So we're going to do a thing called First Reactions, because it's about the sound and what you hear and how it makes you feel. And that's what we want to, we want to try to capture that moment and, how it makes you feel. First Reactions, the Baylor Project Generations.
I love it.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much, Gene, Marcus. I appreciate you guys, and I wish you all the best all the good things possible with this record.
Yes,
Oh,
thank you so much, and
Keanna. We
thanks to
appreciate
you and WBGO and everybody there. Just
it.
a great
Yes.
station, been listening to for years, and just so much history. Thank you, thank you
You're
all,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you
welcome.
for keeping it
Thank you,
going.
Keep
guys.
it going. Yes,
Good night. I hope we can do this again soon.
absolutely,
Absolutely.
anytime.
Absolutely. You got too tight in my head though. Whew,
I know
Yeah.
that's right. Listen,
Gene Baylor, y'all.
I'm about to take these earrings off.
Right.
Lord,
There it is.
imagine that. My
There it is.
word.
Yeah.
There it is. Okay, y'all. Really?
And on that note, good night, guys.
Good
See you soon. Bye.
night.